Hey, Axel here. In this video, I want to give you 3 tips to make sure that the short film that you're writing actually gets made. You probably have a lot of ideas already, maybe you wrote a draft or 2 and now you're thinking about production. As a producer and director, I read a lot of short films and I'm always trying to look for a cool project that I can do myself. At the end of this video, you're going to have a couple ideas of things that you can change on your script to make sure it gets made. But before we get started, please hit the like button and also drop me a comment. Just write, "Hey Axel," it's for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps so more people can see these videos. So number 1, make it personal. The main thing that makes me want to take a script that I read and go out and make it is to find some kind of personal connection with the story. Sometimes we get caught up in wanting to make a film just to make a film. Looking back, the films that I have made that were actually sucky were the ones that I just forced it and just wanted to go and make something. But those films that I made that I actually feel proud of and that people really respond well to were those films where I had some kind of like personal connection to it. So let me show you a quick example.
Erin Gabrielle Owenby. Welcome to the remembering. So this is what it looks like. So how does this go? Well, you're allowed to leave one person a message before you are terminated permanently. We will allow you to recall memories, moments of your life, to help you in your decision making. How do I get to my memories? The same way you always do. You remember them. I think I'm ready. Where would you like to begin? Can I see my mom again? Close your eyes. Concentrate on her. We will help you.
This short is called The Remembering. Initially on the idea, the writer wanted to do something a little bit more digital, like AI type thing. So she was going to wake up, this computer voice was going to be talking to her, and it was way more like sci-fi. It was a little bit different. Now when Megan told me about the story, I was immediately hooked. I really liked it, and I thought, well, what would I try to remember if I died, you know? And immediately the first thought that came to my mind was my mom. So I added that scene where she's like with her mom and she's dying of cancer or some kind of terrible disease. You could think of your kids, but what if you don't have kids? You could think of your spouse or, you know, that person that you're in love with, but what if you're not in a relationship? But we all have our moms, and like that's something that is universal. So we open with that memory and it's something that creates a connection right away. And when you look at the 2 films, one is trying to be cool and edgy. It doesn't quite land, and I think it's because we didn't have any connection to any experience like that. The writer had a connection to the story, I had a connection, and sometimes you get a script and you can actually figure out ways to bring something that is your own feeling and emotion to that story, and maybe you transition some things or change it a little bit, but you have to put something strong there that is with you. And for example, the actress Erin Ownby, she was actually doing that scene with her actual mom in her parents' house in the bed. So for her, it was so easy just to picture what would it feel like to be in your mom's room and she's about to die. And even for me as a director, it was a lot easier to do that scene because I only had to let her do her thing. So I had the camera, we had that establishing shot when she comes in, and then I took the camera handheld and I just let them play that scene, and I got some details here and there, and it's some of my favorite images that I have ever shot. And that takes me to my second point, and that's write the story for the actor that you actually want to use. In this example, Megan had her sister Erin, and she already had her in mind for that character. So when she told me, I was like, oh, that's perfect. Like, you know your sister, you know her range, like you already know that she can pull this off. So when you're writing, think of what actors you know, instead of like coming up with this random character and someone that you're just creating out of nothing. Think of the image of that actor that you already know and try to imagine what character you could create that fits right in with that person. And the best thing you can do with an actor is call them up and say, hey, I wrote something just for you. They're gonna be so excited. And this is something I do all the time. The moment I start writing a new film, I think immediately of who is going to play this. And why? Because I believe that cast is as important, if not more, than your script. And I know some people disagree in this, but think about it. 90% of the movies that we sit down to watch, we made the decision to watch it because we know who's the actor that is going to be playing whatever character. I love working with actors, and I think it's my favorite part of making movies is actually working with another person and trying to figure out motivations and their backstory and why they're doing this. It's that one like intangible thing that mixes, you know, art and technique in movies that I think you need to get used to. Think of that and put it first. Make that a priority and then worry about the other stuff. And if you don't have an actor that you're friends with, because you might say, hey Axel, yeah, I get that, but I don't have any actor friends like you do. What do I do? Well, the next thing that I would recommend is to find another actor, you know, from a movie that you love and just write the piece as if that person was playing it. That is just gonna make it so much easier for you to sit down and think, so how does this person talks? How does this person moves? And for me as a director, whenever I read a script, that's what I'm thinking of. Like I'm trying to picture, who is this girl? Like what does she look like? Who is this guy? What is he gonna sound like? And when you are pitching your short film to a producer or a director, that's something that you could bring to the table. And if you work with a casting director, they take on some of that work. Chances are you're starting out, you don't have a casting director. So just make it easier on yourself and your team, the people that you bring along. Just make sure that you're clear in who is it that you want to play this piece. And the last reason I think you need to write with an actor in mind is because I believe in working with the same people over and over. They are gonna want to keep working with directors and writers and producers that trusted them when they were starting out. And also they're gonna feel more comfortable if they already know you and you have made a few films together. You're only going to get better and better and better. Not only you as a director or writer, but also them working with you, because the communication is going to be a lot easier. You're going to trust each other, and man, you never know, like you might be working with an actor right now doing a little indie project, and that actor might make it big. So you need to build those relationships, and I always believe in building stronger, deeper relationships rather than having like a bunch of people that you're not really close to. And number 3, set a shooting deadline. The moment you pick a date in the calendar, you make it real and you tell other people, it's like, you better finish that short, you know? And at the end of the day, I don't want you to keep writing and writing and writing. I want you to go out and make stuff. So whenever I get a short film, my next question is, so when are we shooting this? that is going to determine, okay, how much time do we have to get the cast, to get the crew, how much money do we need to raise, what are the things that we need to get done to make sure that this movie works. And one of those things is we need to get the script done. So the moment you put that date on the calendar and you make it official, it's like you have to get it done. And that's a really good motivation. At least that's one advice that for me has worked a lot. Whenever I have that deadline and I committed to other people that I was going to do it and I committed to myself, then I really get to work and I get it done. And that's it. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, drop me a comment, send me your script, send me your shorts. I would love to see your movies and, see you in another video.